Today's video is sponsored by plumsale.com. Plumsale offers comprehensive tools for automated document creation, designing web forms, customizing SharePoint list forms, and much more. Visit them today at plumsale.com. In this video, we're going to take a look at Microsoft 365 and Entra ID with some awesome tips and tricks I guarantee you're going to love. Stay tuned and you'll learn something. Hello everybody, how are you? I hope that you had a great Easter, and if you had a few days off, then I hope you're nice and relaxed. So as promised in this episode, we're going to take a look at some new and cool and enhanced features in Microsoft 365 and Entra ID that I believe will just completely blow you away. And you think, wow, what did I ever do without them? If you haven't subscribed, we would love to have you on board. So bump that subscribe button, ring the bell, and come and join our great learning family here. Now, on the 7th of May, we're doing something really special. I'm doing a live event over Zoom, and I would love it if you would come and join us. A full day's training for only £99. We're calling it Tech Days, and we're going to cover things like security, compliance, identity, Microsoft 365, loads of goodies in there. Again, a whole day live, and I want you to be part of it. So details below and as well as in the description as well. Now, just also to mention that if you haven't signed up to my Patreon site, then you can get access to full courses, monthly Zoom calls, and so much more. Again, details there as well. So I think without any further ado, we'll jump in and take a look at some of these cool and awesome features that you definitely need to know. Check it out. So first of all, I want to show you some improvements in guest accounts in Microsoft 365 and Entra ID. So you can see here, I've actually got two tenants. So one I've just placed in dark mode and one I've placed in light mode at the moment. And I have a user in this portal called Megan, and I want to invite her as a guest in my other tenant. So what I would typically do is I can come into Microsoft 365, I can come into add users, and of course I could, in here we have a subcategory of guest users. I could go and add a guest here. Now the problem is, of course, if I click onto this, it will take me into the Entra ID portal. So to save time, I'm just going to go ahead and click into there. Now eventually, of course, these two portals will be one, but as you can imagine, for Microsoft, it's probably quite a lot of work. So I'm going to come into my portal here, and I'm going to come down into users and all users. Now, of course, inviting guests is nothing new. I can simply come up here and I can say, yeah, I want to either create a new internal user or member user, or I want to invite an external user into my organization. And that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to add in Megan's address, and this is Megan from the other tenant. And I'm going to type in her name. So this is Megan, and I'll say Megan J. Bowen, just to differentiate her from the other tenant. And I'll just say, you know, can you please, let's say, join the party? Okay. And you can see that I'm going to send a little invite message. I can put in a CC. I'll come back to the other property. Well, actually, no, I'll show you the properties now. So you can see that as a regular user, she can fill in her details here. But a couple of things you'll notice that are quite new. First of all, it's saying, okay, what kind of user do you want Megan to be? So she could be a guest or she could be a member user. Now, a member user with a third-party domain ID, that could be, for example, a contractor or something like that. But essentially, she has the same rights and permissions as regular users in your tenant, as opposed to guest membership. Now, the cool thing about this is new. You can convert them back and forth any way that you want. And you can also do this through PowerShell as well. The second thing that I want to mention is, if I just scroll down a little bit further, again, we've always had managers, and this is how they're represented in the organization, for example, in the likes of Microsoft Teams. But now we also have sponsors. So I can put in a sponsor and I can say, hey, you know, Alex is going to sponsor Megan. And you can actually have up to 5 sponsors, which again is pretty cool. Again, I could fill in the rest of these details here, but for the purpose of this little demo, I'm not going to bother. So I'm going to click on review and I'm going to send that invite out to Megan. Now, that invite has now gone. And just a by the by, if I click into properties here, and if I scroll down, in fact, let me just come out of this. It does take a little bit of time to come through, but you'll actually see that if I just scroll down, and I'm going to just refresh this page, and let's see what we can see. So as I scroll down, you can now see, in fact, that I've got 2 Megan Bowen. So one is in this tenant, but you can see here is Megan from the other tenant. And you can see that she's coming in as that important guest account. And if I click onto this account here, you can see, as always, we can tell that it's a guest account simply by clicking in here, and you can see that you've got that EXT extension there, and that shows you that she's a guest. Now, as I've mentioned, I can also go into the properties of this user. And if you can scroll down, and there's some really important information here. So you can see that the invitation that we just created is actually pending acceptance. So once she goes in and accepts that, that will also change as well. Now, for that, I'm going to now go back into my other tenant. So here is Megan. And I'm going to go into, let's say, not Microsoft Word. I'm going to go into Outlook. So I'm going to just flip over here into Outlook. Just close that down there. And okay, so you can now see that that invitation has come in. And Megan wants to go ahead and, of course, accept that invitation. So it goes ahead, it verifies the link. And again, you can see that if you've got any security, it just checks the link, checks the link's genuine, and that there's not any issues. And this is actually a feature of the enterprise plan. Now, an OAuth ticket pops up, so open authentication, of course. And what this is doing is it's just getting temporary access to Megan's account, and it's saying, okay, these are the permissions that the account is going to require. Do you accept them? I do, so I'm just going to click on accept, and you can now see that Megan will get her desktop. Of course, I haven't shared any apps or anything with her yet, but the fact is she is now a guest in my alternate tenant here. So if I now refresh this page, let's see what happens. So again, I'm going to come into the properties page here, and you can now see that that invitation state has now been accepted. Now, very important, if Megan wanted to leave the organization, she could do one of a couple of things. She could say, hey, you know, I don't want to be part of this organization anymore. So for that, she can simply click into her account, and her account details would come up. And just close that, and you can see that we have the all-important organizations tab here. And what this does is it shows you which organizations Megan is connected to. And you can see that at the moment, you can see that obviously it's her home organization, and you've got, this is the one that she's currently signed into, and this is the partner tenants. Okay, and if she clicks on that, she could obviously leave the organization. So there you have it, just a little bit about guest accounts in Microsoft 365 and how they're improving. Very cool. Okay, the next thing that I want to talk about is in the Microsoft 365 Admin Center. And if I go into the compliance portal here, I'm sure many of you will be familiar with the likes of Microsoft Purview. Well, by going into Microsoft Purview here, you can find that you've got all your tools, everything that you need for Microsoft 365, including many, many really cool features. Now, the only issue that I had with this particular portal is what if I had resources, for example, in Microsoft Azure? Microsoft Azure also has its own tools. Well, fear no more. Microsoft are merging these portals together into a unified Microsoft Purview portal, and the address is purview.microsoft.com. So you can see this is just a demo portal at the moment, but the fact is that you can go in here, and every day that I come in here, it's actually being enhanced and it's being changed. So I can come in and I can see my any data that you've got, a catalog of all of your data, irrespective of where it is in Microsoft. So whether it's in Entra, whether it's in Azure, Microsoft 365, you'll find everything here. You've got tools like information protection, data loss prevention policies, insider risk management, auditing, and many more. Now, in addition, you've got all the solutions here, as we know. Now, the idea is that eventually you're going to not just have Microsoft solutions here. It's going to be a little bit like Microsoft Azure. You're also going to have third-party solutions here as well. But the fact is, from a compliance perspective, you can see at a glance exactly where you are. And of course, it takes you into things like Compliance Manager, Compliance Score, and you can improve things. Likewise, if there are any products that Microsoft feel that would benefit you, again, here you can try out the various trials here as well. And what I really love is the fact that they've kind of integrated the Knowledge Center, which are connected to things like Microsoft Learn, both documentation and videos for training. So it's really, really useful. So if I go into my data catalog here, you can see it's showing what I've currently got a connection. I've got Microsoft Fabric, I've got Microsoft Azure here. And I can simply go in and I can say, okay, there's not much here at the moment. As you can see, it's just a demo, but any source types. I love this, the fact that eventually I'll be able to go in and see, hey, are there any shares? I can also share my content directly from this portal as well. I can see instantly which shares have been are out there, and again, any invites that have been accepted or not accepted, as the case may be. So I'm really looking forward to seeing that. Again, this is just a preview at the moment, but I think it's going to be absolutely awesome. Now, at the moment, if I just click into any of these, it's just going to take me right back into these particular tools. But eventually, this portal will be replaced by this central portal here. Now, if I go into the settings here, you can see that the tenant, I can upgrade it if I want to. This is my Azure tenant. So actually what this is telling me here, this is Microsoft Azure, and this is essentially, do I want to upgrade my subscription to take into account all of the resources that I've got. But that aside, the other things that we've got are your things like roles and scopes. So you can also see that you can have both adaptive scopes, as I've discussed before. You've got your role groups if you want to assign, for example, admin roles to groups. And again, you've got your Entra ID roles here as well, which again is really good. Other things that we've got, and I love this, you've got things like your data connectors. So of course, the thing about compliance is the chances are you're not going to have all your data in Microsoft 365 or Microsoft Azure. The chances are you're going to have lots of third-party products and tools, and this is absolutely awesome. So I can come in here and you can see I can literally connect to, for example, a HR system, ServiceNow, any of these things like Salesforce, and you can bring those connectors in and extend the power of Microsoft Purview right across your multi-cloud environment. You can see that obviously we're not just interested in users, but because it's a kind of centralized portal, we're also looking at compliance of things like devices as well. So if you're using Intune to bring in your devices, you've got additional features like character recognition for additional compliance reasons. So I really love this, and I'm really looking forward to when this is actually complete. So check it out today, purview.microsoft.com. Now, just before we go into the next topic, please bear with me for a quick message from today's sponsor, plumsale.com. With Plumsale, you can automate document creation and seamlessly populate data from your apps into documents, design responsive online forms and embed them into your site, or simply share them by a link. You can customize SharePoint list forms with no code for advanced features. Use promo code Andy for a 10% discount on your first year's subscription at plumsale.com. Now, I have to say that Microsoft Intune is just expanding beyond belief, and some of its features and the way Microsoft are working on this is absolutely awesome. So in this section, let's take a quick look at what we can see in the new features in Microsoft Intune. First of all, you'll notice that we have a fresh look. So the interface has been completely updated, as has the dashboard. Now the dashboard also is continuing to be updated, so watch out for some changes there. Now, one of the huge changes, and I'm so glad to see it, is in devices, and you can now see it's so much more clearer, and also for management, you can now manage things so much easier than before, and it's so nice that this has come in. Now, also, if you've got any additional device actions, any reporting, you've got that here, and also other devices. This is currently in preview. We've got the Chrome OS support in here, which is really nice. Now, everything is still in the same place down here, including Windows 365. And watch out for that. I've got a special session coming on that very, very shortly, actually. Down below, you can also manage your devices as well. So everything is really kind of categorized to make things really nice and simple. So I can come in, of course, once you've enrolled your devices into your organization. And again, here it's how do you want to enroll those? So again, where these were just kind of all in settings and kind of messed up a little bit, you can now see that we have these new categories, which just really make it simple to manage. Things like corporate device identifiers, things like if you want to assign permissions to device enrollment managers, you've got Windows, Apple, Android devices, and soon, of course, you've got that Chrome OS coming in as well. So I can go into any of these, and you can see I can set, for example, device limit restrictions. So the policies are there. I can just simply go in and edit those. Now, in terms of as well as configuration, of course, we also have the compliance. Now you can see this is pretty much what it used to look like. So I'm guessing that Microsoft are doing some big changes here, and eventually it will kind of take that kind of new look there as well. So we've got compliance, of course, conditional access. Conditional access is going through some huge changes at the moment. And I don't know if you saw my last video on this. If you haven't, definitely check it out. It's really good. We also have the new conditional access insider risk preview. So this is currently in preview here. So you can block access for users with insider risk. And this is kind of a really nice template. So this can come in. I can say, do you want to download the JSON? Let's have a look at the template itself so you can see exactly what's involved with that. Again, if you haven't seen that, I covered that in a recent session. So definitely go ahead and check that out. Okay, now as well as the hardware, of course, we've also got app support. And again, you can see that this continues to be enhanced. You've also got things like groups. You can manage groups, of course. And of course, you've got things like tenant administration. And the nice thing about the tenant administration, of course, is you've got the addition of the new Cloud PKI. So I can now, if you've signed up for it, this is one of the premium features, of course, in Intune. You can now create and deploy and manage digital certificates. So you've also got PIM as well. Remember PIM, privileged identity management. So this, of course, is a P2 license. Just remember that. Now, in terms of security also gets a few enhancements as well. So in here, we can go ahead and there is a connector for, of course, Defender for Endpoint. So once you've deployed that, you can go ahead and obviously enforce your security with that. Again, you'll see here we've now got a number of additional options. So not only have you got endpoint privilege management, but you've also got endpoint detection and response as well. Again, this depends on the license that you're using. At the moment, I don't have any devices deployed here as well. Again, there are a number of features coming out here, and again, I've got a dedicated session on Intune and all of its new features coming soon, so watch out for that. I got to tell you, it's going to be an exciting session. There you go. So what do you think? Awesome, huh? Hey, listen, I really hope you enjoyed the session, and if you did, bump the like button up there, ring that subscribe button, come and join our great learning community, and if you have questions and comments, as always, get those down below and I'll do my best for you. Okay, thanks very much to our sponsor Plum Sale this week. Really appreciate that. Details about them, again, you can find in the description below. Okay, that's it for today. I'll see you next time. Take care. Hey, thanks so much for dropping by today. Here's a couple of videos that you may enjoy, and while you're here, go ahead, click on the subscribe button and you won't miss out.